Hello and welcome to a special edition of Andy's Shed Live, here live from the loft. I hope you're all well and having a good one this evening. Quite a few people in the chat already, so hello to everybody who's there already. Let me just see who we've got. Um, we've got Jimmy, we've got Christopher, we've got Dominic. They're all here. Fat Hobbit's been here as well. He says, "Sorry, I can't make the live stream this evening. Well, I'll catch up later. Hope everyone enjoys it." So that's Fat Hobbit there. Can't make it tonight, but he's around. I'm sure he's with us in spirit, as he always is. Sorry, the camera works a bit shaky at the minute. I've just realised I've got nowhere to actually stand this camera. Just bear with me 1 second. I shall have to find something to stand it on. What can I stand this camera on here tonight? Move a few things round. I'm always moving things round. Dominic says 746L telephones are like buses. Wait for ages and then three come along at once. What's happened then, Dominic? Or at least maybe not us, but in quick succession, let's say. Where have you got them all from then, Dominic? Sounds like he's got a lot of them. Right. I'm just building myself a tripod at the minute. Just bear with me a second. Put that on there, put it on there, put that on there, and then I can put that on there like that. How's that? That's better, isn't it? Cool. Brilliant. Right. And I can put the chat on like that. And hopefully it'll stay on, because it doesn't always. So as you can see, I'm in the loft. It's no tidier. I have tried to tidy this up a bit today in here, but it's not worked terribly well. But I've tried. Has that made it better or worse? Better, I think, hasn't it? A bit less shadowy on this side. Yep. Right. So here we are. Sunday evening. A little bit different. I've not got my normal computer on this evening, so it's all a bit Heath Robinson when we're up here. But it's a bit of a last minute cobble together tonight to keep us on. I have, however, got up here with me that Pi telephone that was on a few weeks ago. Dominic says he's got an ivory phone as well, 1967 746. Why does this chat disappear so much? It says he's got an ivory 1967 746, a grey 72 73 one, and a red 1968 one now. Cool. You're getting there then, Dominic. You didn't need a green one next. A yellow one. You need a yellow one. That's what you need, a yellow one. I don't even know if I've got a yellow one. Not visible, I haven't. Yeah, 746, a 746L in yellow is probably quite a rare thing. Wesley says he's located the plan for socket as well. Have you, Wesley? That's interesting. Why does the chat keep disappearing? It keeps vanishing off my screen. Christopher says, can you show a GPO 741? Not sure, Christopher, to be quite honest. Hang on. Yeah, I can. How many would you like? Here's one. It's missing its dial bezel, this one, as you can see. But that's a GPO 741, which I've just got out of a bag here. But that's one. Does it look anything like yours, that, Christopher? a 741 for you there. It comes on then it vanishes, this chat. In fact, there is a dial bezel there, but it's all broke on the back. Look, the trouble with these bezels is they are very prone to breakage on the back. This new design of bezel is nowhere near as good as the old one with the metal back on it. Christopher says he's found where his 711 came from, because he's got one which is quite clever, being he's out in Australia. He says, what are the differences between the 741s and the 711s? Is it just the internals? As far as I know to, Christopher, yes, it's just the internals. I was looking at two the other day and trying to figure out if there was a difference in the case. I don't think there is. I think it's just the the internals. And Gambo's here as well. Evening, Gambo. Oh, everybody's here tonight. It's gets more like This Is Your Life every week. This does. So we've been tidying up and cleaning up in here today. This is a good opportunity tonight if you've got any questions or anything. If you want to see anything a little bit closer up, just give me a shout. Drop it into the chat if you're watching it live. Obviously, if you're not watching it live, obviously you can't, because I can't time travel. But if you are watching live, drop it all into the chat and stuff. Christopher says the GEC 711 that he's got was used only on the railways in Australia. So he's got a railway one, so they made it to Australia. Not quite sure why. I was having this conversation with Christopher the other day. I'm not quite sure why the 741s and 711s would go abroad, because normally it was private systems. They wanted the cheapest option, and rather than have a dedicated wall phone, they normally just adapted an ordinary desk phone and turned it upside down, basically. And that's the way it was normally done. In fact, that's the way that even London Transport did it here. Yeah, that's the way it works most of the time for cheapness. But I've got loads of bits here that I've got to that I'm still sorting out and things. That's an empty bag. But yeah, I've got loads of oddball things here. Christopher says, do you know how to wire GPO or GC711 in the old-fashioned way? Yeah, basically you go in through the thing on the back, Christopher. You use the drop wire, i.e. the wire coming in from the outside. It doesn't have a line cord on it. You use the wire coming in from outside, and there'll be a little knockout on the back, usually an oblong one. There. It's not been knocked out very cleanly on this one, but there, you see. So when this is fitted to the wall, it actually stands off the wall a bit. So your cord coming from the exchange comes straight into your house, straight up the back of here, in that hole there, and then you wire it exactly the same way that you would wire normally. So that's the way you would do it. It would just go straight up into the back of the phone, the drop wire. There's no line cord as such involved in them. We've got the Vintage Telephone GPO Workshop channel, whatever that is. Oh, it's Kieran. It's Kieran has changed his name, I think. Hi, Kieran. Kieran is who supplied some of the bits and pieces that I picked up the other day. I picked up a load of bits from Kieran the other day, and yeah, he's finding some way to put them now. That's the hard part, including all those dial bezels up there. They came from you, didn't they, Kieran? All those up there. You'll notice there's a lot of red ones amongst them, mainly blank ones. It has to be said before you say, "Are there any with the alphanumerics on?" I think there's one, but it's one with unprinted on the surface. So yeah, we've got all sorts that has come along here just recently, but at the moment it's work on this pie thing that we're still doing. I'll move that around so you can see it, because we've still got to wire various things up, and that we still need the plungers for the hook switch as well, which are not the same as 300 series ones. These are a thing of their own. We've got one, but I need another one. So if anybody's got plungers for one of these, I'd be interested to know. What's everybody saying? Dominic says, I'll let you know if I need any. Oh, it's Wesley. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing there. I'm reading something that wasn't necessarily meant for me to read there. So, what we're doing with this? Well, we're getting it going. I had terrible trouble getting the dial going. When I got this, it was all in bits. It didn't have a case and it didn't have a handset, so that handset's come from somewhere else. The case has come from somewhere else, but all the rest of it was entirely in bits, except for the dial. The dial was there but not fitted to the phone, and it was seized solid, and it's been the devil's own job to unseize this dial. It sort of runs now, but every now and again it does still stick like that, you see. So it's still not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So there's still things wrong with this dial. It's still not the way it ought to be. It still sticks. So we might have a look at this, see what we can find out about it. Let's take the top off the thing again and see why it's sticking, because the clutch isn't working in it now. I can feel it's not working. So we'll get the top off there, and inside this thing is a nightmare. Still missing some parts on the inside here, mainly the capacitor. I've got to find one, the big capacitor to go in there, although it won't do much, but I do need to find one. But this dial is an absolute nightmare. Right, let's see what we can do. I'll just undo it from there for a minute. And if you look on the back of that there, you'll see as I wind this dial round, it's taking the governor with it, and it shouldn't necessarily. So that is down to all this business here, which is a very complicated, a very complicated way of doing the sort of slipping clutch that doesn't always slip. You can do that and go, is it going to slip? Yeah, it's slipping now, but it doesn't always. And that's the problem, I think. Oh, I see what's happened. That has come out of there. Right, I need a very, very tiny screwdriver. To get that middle bit back in there. Have I got a small enough screwdriver to do that? I'll show you what's happened. In all this stack of things here, in all this stack, there is like a spring-loaded plate between the stack that acts as a clutch, and it's here. It's stuck out to one side. So what I've got to do is take this top off this stack, which involves undoing the world's smallest screw, if I can. And if I can get it undone, might need some more lights on the job. Hello. Well, that one's not plugged in, I don't think. Right. Let's see if I can undo this screw that I can't even hardly see, to be honest with you, let alone undo, really. Such a awkward thing, this. Right, I've loosened it, so I can take that little top piece off now, hopefully. Then I should be able to see what's happened to this, because something's happened here, something's not. Entirely as it should be. So it's all got kind of ruffled up somehow. It's a very bad design of dial, this. It's a very, very poor, overly complicated design. Nice and smooth when they're working, but a lot of the time you find they're not working. So it's not the world's greatest design by any stretch of the imagination. You probably can't see what I'm doing at the minute, but I'm trying to straighten out this that has kind of got jammed and then got kind of torn up. Right, I think I might have done it. So now I've got to put it back on the top of here, because now I've flattened that out. Don't know if you can see that. So that should sit flat like that, with that end, piece, if you can see it, stuck up. And then it engages on these little recessed bits on the top of here, so it will push that round just one way in theory and not the other, like that. So if I put that back on like so, oh, I've got to change my screwdriver bit again. I should be able to tighten that up. God, I wish I could see it. It is so small. And that's fixed it. Now when I dial, yeah, it doesn't really want to move that so much. Move that governor, doesn't really want to move that governor so much. If I just put a tiny little bit of stopping force on that governor, a bit of braking force on it, you can see it moves that way, but when I let the governor go, the whole thing comes back. So you can see how that clutch mechanism there works. Right, we'll put that back together, shall we? Stick it back on there. Put the big screw back in there. That screwdriver bit's too big. I find these hollow ground screwdrivers like that are not ideal, these hollow ground bits. I find they slip out a lot easier than a traditional ground screwdriver. Right, so that's that. Nothing's connected up inside so far. Just say it's still a lot of work to do inside, but let's put the top back on. And see if it now dials. Much better. It's a very complicated dial mechanism. Very complicated. But we seem to have got there. Oh, Penfold's here. Evening, Penfold. I'm just scrolling through the chat. Dominic says, I wonder why Pi chose German-made dials. I wonder if Pi had operations in West Germany. Probably because they were cheap, I would guess there, Dominic. I mean, people say it is a good dial in use, in operation. They say it's fairly good to use. But you see, it did the jam up, it's done it again. So bad for jamming up. so bad for jamming up, really are. So it's coming together slowly. We'll get there eventually, but I don't think it'll ever be a phone that we use on a regular basis because they're just not that good. Christopher says, "Good. Hardwire GC711 wall phone into the phone line. Thinks GC and GPO wall phones look daft with the line cords hanging down." Yeah, but where are you going to put it? You know, if it doesn't hang down, the line cord's got to go out the bottom. Where else is it going to go? You know, it's got to go somewhere. So that's traditionally where it goes. It runs along the skirting board and then up into the phone. I suppose it could come down from the top. If you ran a cord along, it could come down from the top, but that's not the traditional way it went, because that would involve the man who installed